Well, hello there, and welcome to today's episode of Needlepoint TV. I'm Ellen Johnson. I'm going to be your host today, and I'm delighted to have you here with me. We are going to talk a little bit about color and also about Hearts for Hospice. So if you've not ever heard about the Hearts for Hospice project, it's a project that started back in 2015 by the Greater Kansas City American Needlepoint Guild chapter, and it's a service project. What that chapter does is, in the beginning, they stitched hearts. And when I say heart, I mean literally the shape of a heart on a piece of needlepoint canvas. They filled in a design in that shape, and then they finished it into an ornament, or finished those into ornaments that they then donated to their local hospice facility. The hospice facility, in turn, then would take a heart and hang it on the door of a patient when a patient passed, in order to alert people who were passing by, just to give them a heads up to be respectful of the situation. And then when the family member, or when the family left, actually, then they were able to take that heart with them as a memory or a keepsake of their loved one. So the program since 2015 has shared more than 2,000 hearts, which is amazing, I think. What they do is, they take hearts. Actually, this is, like I said, this is their service project. So what they do, they accept hearts stitched by people from all across the United States. Actually, I think all around the world. And what they do then is they finish them themselves. That's their, I think they just have just days where they get together and they do the finishing on these ornaments, and then of course then donate them to the local hospice facility. And I think they actually serve more than one hospice facility now. I want to say that there was a children's hospice facility that was part of the program at one time, and I don't know if it still is, but anyway, it's I think it's just a really, really special program. My dad was in hospice, was an in-house hospice patient when he passed. And it would have meant the world to me to have had something like that. It's just, I just think it's a really generous way to share what we love to do with somebody else who is hurting. And it's just a way to just ease somebody else's pain and make their day a little bit brighter. And so, and it all goes really hand in hand with one of the cornerstones of Serendipity Needleworks, and that is to make the world a better place, one stitch at a time. And I know we've had people that have donated hearts to the Greater Kansas City chapter. I've done some, and I actually, because this is Valentine's Day month, February, and Heart Health Month, and National Embroidery Month, and all those kinds of things, I wanted to make sure that we touched on this, that everybody knew about Hearts for Hospice in the event that you may want to participate too. So I sent out an email earlier today. If you're on my email list, then you got that email. And inside is a link to the template for the heart. And then also there's a link for a pattern that you can use to stitch the heart. So it's actually a design. And earlier this month, I also shared another heart pattern that you could stitch as well. And that's actually the cover photo on this video for today. That one was stitched by one of my former customers and my dear friend Allison in Gulf Shores. She actually lives down in the Gulf Shores area, and I ran into her last week, and she shared with me what she had done, and I thought it was so pretty. I wanted y'all to see what the pattern I shared earlier this month looks like stitched up. And I also thought that it would be a good example of something that you could stitch for the Hearts for Hospice project if you feel so inclined. So you can actually take the heart template and fill it in with any kind of a stitch that you want to. If there's a stitch that you've been maybe wanting to practice or try out, you could fill the whole heart shape with that. It would give you practice on compensating around the edges, because the shape is, it's not a box. It's got some curves. So it would give you the opportunity to practice compensating, making those stitches fit into a specific space. Or you could divide the heart shape into different sections and work different stitch patterns in each section. It's really up to you. And again, then, like I said, there is a heart design pattern that I shared in the email today. So if you, let me do this real quick. If you don't get our weekly emails, then you can go to our website. I put it on the screen here. You can go to our website and sign up for the weekly emails. And those go out every Thursday. They always include, tips and hints and all that kind of stuff. And I would love to be able to share those kinds of things with you. I try to keep it short and to the point. And you can always unsubscribe if it's something that, you find is not something that, that you get some benefits from. But I can guarantee you that, well, I think at least I share some pretty good information in there. And you also get insider info about things that are happening in our Serendipity Needleworks world before anybody else. So I also said, now switching gears to talking about color, because the heart that Allison stitched was done in shades of red. So it's really got a monochromatic color scheme. That means that it's varying shades of a single color. So when you're coming up with or trying to come up with some colors that you think you might want to use on a particular project, say for example something like this, you would want to choose a color scheme. So there are different kinds of color schemes. And my best advice to you, if you don't already have one, buy yourself an artist's color wheel. You can get them at places like Hobby Lobby, Michael's. You can also order them on Amazon, and your local needlework shop may carry them. A lot of quilt shops carry color wheels too. So if you happen to live in a place where there's not a needlepoint store, but there is a quilt shop, you might check with them. But the color wheel is a huge help to helping you really learn more about how colors work together. And so when we talk about the different kinds of color schemes that you can use on these kinds of projects, you have your monochromatic color scheme. So that is varying shades of a single color. So varying shades of red or varying shades of blue or green. Then you also have what's called an analogous color scheme. And that's one of my favorite color schemes. It's the three colors that are next to each other on a color wheel. So in other words, if you have a green, blue-green, and let's see, it would be green, blue-green, and blue. Yeah, that's right. I had to stop and think a second. Green, blue, green, and blue, or blue-violet, blue, and violet. Or wait, no, it would be blue-violet, blue, and okay, y'all, I need my color wheel. Let me look at I have this little color doolally here. This is my color palette. So it would be red, violet, violet, and blue violet. Or it would be, you've got all the different, here we've got red, orange, and orange. So it would be like, that would be a good example of one right there. Red, orange, and orange. And then you've also got orange, yellow, orange, and yellow. So those are analogous color schemes. And then I'm trying to think. So there is also a tetradic color scheme where the colors are an equal distance apart on the color wheel. And then you have complementary color scheme. Complementary color scheme is where the colors are opposite each other on the color wheel. So for example, red and green, those are complementary colors. Purple and gold or purple and yellow are complementary colors, and blue and orange are complementary colors. Now, we'll say a lot of times when you're working with those kinds of color schemes, those are the most jarring. The complementary color scheme is the most jarring. So many times what kind of softens it up is to either add white or black to the color to kind of soften it, at least one of them. In other words, if you had red and green, instead of using red and green, you might soften the red with some white and make it pink and use pink and green. Or instead of using purple and yellow, you might make that purple a lavender and use lavender and yellow. Same thing is true with blue and orange. Instead of using navy blue or just blue, plain blue and orange, you might make it blue and peach. So softening one of those colors makes it, I think, more palatable. Sometimes, you know, the complementary color schemes can be very just in your face. So those are just some of the different kinds of color schemes. And one of the things that I was going to share with y'all today was 3 different color schemes that I'm going to be using, because what I've set as my goal is to try and stitch at least one heart before Easter to send to the Greater Kansas City chapter for their Hearts for Hospice project. So I pulled some threads, and I love using silk and ivory thread because I'm going to be stitching on 18 mesh canvas, and silk and ivory covers very well on 18 mesh if you're going to be doing any straight stitches. And when I say straight stitches, I'm talking about true vertical or true horizontal stitches. Yes, slanted stitches are also straight, but when I'm talking about those that either read truly vertically or truly horizontally, the ones that lay in the ditch between 2 canvas threads, I like to use a thread that's thicker so that I can get full coverage. So some of the colors that I pulled some, you know, I love turquoise or teal. And then also I love blue and pink. So I pulled 3 different color schemes. Well, they're actually these are all monochromatic because I tend to love that. I like analogous, but I also love monochromatic. So I'm going to be doing some hearts, and the colors, the blues that I chose, I'm going to share with you the blues. Let me hold these up. I think these are super, super pretty. Periwinkle, you know, is the color of the Pantone color of the year. And so I think that's probably influenced me a little bit, but I'll give you the names of these. Hydrangea number 142 is one of the colors. Delphinium number 70 is a color in that blue family. 102 cornflower. And then, of course, 140 periwinkle. So we have these 4 colors that I think will be really pretty in a monochromatic palette to stitch. You could do a Bargello pattern in the heart shape, fill in the heart shape with a Bargello pattern. It would be really pretty and use these colors. You could use the free pattern that I shared with you in today's email, and it only calls for 3 colors, but you could use 3 of these 4, and it would be really pretty done that way too. With the teal, of course, like I said, you know, I love my teal. So here are my teals. So wait a second, let me get it so you can. Okay, hold on. Here we go. We got out of order there. So there we go. There are my teals. And so these are color number 78, which is mallard. That's probably my all-time favorite color that Brown Paper Packages makes. Peacock number 77. I don't know. That one's awfully pretty too. That one might be my all-time favorite. I don't know. It's a toss-up. And then we have turquoise number 22. And finally, mint julep number 237. So that'll be a fun one to be. I could be working on that one maybe in time for the Kentucky Derby coming up. Well, that's after Easter though. So maybe I'll save these for my spring heart for the Kentucky Derby. And then we have some pinks, and these are more corally colored pinks. Starting, well, let me hold them up so you can see them all. So there are those. Let's see. There we go. And you can see that we have azalea number 149. Love that color. And watermelon number 50. And salmon number 125. And then number 124, shrimp. So those colors, I think, are just say springtime. You know, I just love them. So those are some different colors that you could use. Again, like I said, you could use these in a Bargello pattern, a very simple Bargello pattern. You could also just fill in an entire heart with a stitch pattern, and you could change the gradation of color, like start at the top with either the lightest shade or the darkest, and work your way down and work on some shading techniques. You could do in the split encroached Gobelin stitch. You could practice and do, work on your long and short stitch, or you could work on your shading. You could all kinds of different possibilities that you could do to fill in that heart shape. The template is only 4 inches, so it's not very big. I think it's 4 inches tall and 4 inches wide. And if you're working on, you could do these on 13 mesh canvas as well. And if you chose to do that, they'd stitch up really fast. Again, I like using 18 count canvas because, well, I just do. And so I may do a little bit of playing around and do a little bit with maybe do one of each and see how that turns out. But you only need a piece of canvas that's 8 inches by 8 inches square. And then you can just trace the heart into the center of the canvas, mount it on stretcher bars, and take off. And I will show you now. Let me go. I did have, where was that? Okay, maybe what I need to do is pull up the picture. I think that's what I need to do. I do want to show you, there are going to be, as with anything that you do on, well, darn, I can't find it. So let's just talk about curves for a second. So you know how when you have the heart shape, one side of your curve is going to be smooth and the other side of your curve is not. So just know that one side is going to be a little irregular, and that's just the nature of needlepoint. So one of the things that I would warn you about is don't try to round that off and make it smooth, because it just won't happen. Just stitch up to your drawn line on your canvas. And when if it looks a little irregular, just don't worry about it. Get it as close as you can to that pen or pencil line. I would recommend using a number 2 pencil, but you could use a blue water soluble marking pen too. That would work just as well. If you don't happen to have that, though, you can use a number 2 pencil, and you can just trace that design on there, or trace that shape on there, and then just go to town. So, all right, let me hop over here and see if we have any questions that have popped up, because I want to make sure that, okay, so yes, we do have a couple of folks who have said beading stores also carry color wheels. That's a great idea. I didn't even think about that. Thank you so much, Mary, for sharing that. And then digital color wheels are also helpful and free with any sketchbook app. That's good to know. So yes, and you could Google just color wheel, and if you want to just look at one and see, if you want to just reference one, you could definitely do that as well. So, all right, gang. Okay, so what about finishing? Should we get it finished? So this is a great question Christine asked. Should you finish it? So if you want to donate your heart to the Hearts for Hospice project, what you'll need to do is send it to them in Kansas City. So what I need to do, let me do this really fast for y'all. Let's see. Their website, I'm going to put their website. I'm going to try to put their website in the chat. Yes, yay, I am. It made it. So there is the link to their website. And I am also going to make a banner, and we're going to add that banner, and we're going to put that up. There is the Greater Kansas City Needlepoint Guild website that you can go to get the address to which you need to send the ornament. They do the finishing free of charge. So, but all that to say that the heart will stay in the Greater Kansas City area. So if you want to do one for yourself, and like if you want to stitch one and then gift it to your local hospice facility, then as far as finishing goes, then you would need to get someone to finish it for you if you don't do finishing yourself. So, but if you're going to donate yours to the Greater Kansas City Guild, then you can just send it straight to them, and they'll take care of the finishing for you. So, all right. Let's see if there is anything else that I need to notice. I don't think that we have any other questions that have popped up. However, I am ever so thankful for you being here with me today. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join me. If you have any questions about the Hearts for Hospice project, please do feel free to reach out to our help desk at help@serendipityneedleworks.com. We'll be happy to give you some direction on where to get to, or how to get to the website. I also wrote an article on our blog. It's been almost 2 years ago now, but there is a blog post. In fact, let me just go ahead and share that with you now because I did pull that up. Let's see. We're going to share my screen and let me hop over here and it's going to be, here we go. So you can see I have a website, serendipityneedleworks.com. And so this is the Hearts for Hospice blog post. And you can see here as well, there's just some basic information about the project. And there's a picture of some hearts that people have stitched. And so anyway, there's just an article about it if you want to learn a little bit more about it. And so there you go. And let me stop that share. That is, again, on our website. All you need to do is just go to serendipityneedleworks.com and then go to the blog tab and type in Hearts for Hospice and it'll pull that up for you. Okay, gang. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you have a terrific rest of your day. And until next time, happy stitching. Bye for now.